Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do some videos here that I'll put together showing how to take this PATHONOR drip irrigation system, how to set it up and get it ready to use and then actually use it. So we use these with Wi-Fi timers, watering timers, to water different large potted plants. So this is going to go from our faucet that's outside to a large potted plant, and then it's going to be set to water it multiple times per day. Because I'm doing a large potted plant, I'm going to end up using drippers, so these red ones, more often, at least with this application. You can still use sprayers, and I do occasionally on different types of plants when we're doing this type of watering application, but the drippers will probably work best for what we're doing today. So that's what I'm going to primarily use. But then you're going to see me use an assortment of the different connectors. Obviously, I'm going to be using the main hose, and obviously I have to use the faucet connector. So what I've found in my experience is it's easiest to kind of lay everything out and get it all ready to go, kind of lay everything out, cut it, put all your pieces together, and then go ahead and place it. So that's usually what I do. One thing I can show you right now is, so this is your, this is what's going to connect to your water source, right? And it is a quick connect, so you can go ahead and, go and connect this or disconnect. You can use it that way. But this we can go ahead and stick on right away. So we'll just pick an end of the hose that we're going to start with. It doesn't, matter which end. And then you just go ahead and you push this on here. And you're just going to go ahead and keep pushing that till you can get it past that barb, because you just really want it to be nice and secure so that there's no leaks or anything. And I've really never had any problems with any of these drip irrigation systems leaking. It's always where anything leaks is always right at the faucet, and that can be addressed with the tape that you have here. So once you make sure that's past the barb and that's on there good, you're just going to screw this down. And so now this is kind of where we're going to start. So I will go ahead and I will put this, right by where it's going to screw in, or you can even screw it in. And then I can go ahead and start laying out the hose, getting to the lengths where I need to be, and then start inserting my different connectors where I need to. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to go and set this. I'm going to do several, 20 feet of it, let it sit in the sun. It's already very pliable. It's pretty nice to work with. It's not a rigid tube, which is definitely a lot easier. I've worked with more rigid plastic irrigation tubes in the past, and they're not as easy to work with. So this is pretty good. I don't even know that we need to let it sit in the sun very long. If at all, really. It's definitely soft enough and pliable enough as it is. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to start measuring some things out. I'll do that on a separate video, start doing some connectors and show you how it all works. Okay, the weather is not cooperating, so I'm going to do some assembling of this PATHONOR drip irrigation system right here inside and kind of go over it while I talk to you about it. All right, so I mentioned earlier as I set this part up that this was going to water a large potted plant. So I measured things out, and this is kind of my lead in line. I gave myself plenty of extra in case I need to cut it down to size, and then I can just fit that when I'm outside if I need to adjust it. So how I'm going to set this up is have this main line running into this large planter, and then I'm going to tee it off and run one hose to the right, one to the left, and then evenly space out. I'm going to actually go with these little sprays after all, and evenly space out about 5 of them on each side. So then the whole perimeter of the planter is going to be getting water sprayed into it, and with that many sprays going, we don't have to run it for very long. So that's part of what I use a lot of sprays for as well. So to start that off, you would go ahead, and I'm going to use like this barbed T adapter right here, right? And that's going to go in here. And again, you just kind of push. You may want to wear some sort of gloves as you do this, just because you may end up with some blisters from pushing and turning. But anyway, so you want to keep pushing and turning until you get that all the way flush past the barb, because you want to make sure that there's no leaking going on. So this one is not there, so I'm going to go ahead and I'll probably put some gloves on after this video, and I'm going to have to get this pushed all the way up to here. So when I show it to you later, I will go ahead and have those all ready to go. So then I would start on one side, and again, you're kind of doing the same thing here. The other thing you can do is if you wet this, that certainly helps a little bit. I've noticed in the past, so we'll try doing that and see if that makes a little difference, and it does. But again, you're probably just going to want to put on some gloves, and then you can go ahead and get this pushed all the way on. So I'm going to want to go back and I'm going to get those pushed in flush, okay? But for the sake of the video, we'll just keep going for now. So I have each piece, you know, spread out here. So what I would do is initially I'm going to want to put like a sprayer right here. So I'm just going to cut right here. And then I'm going to use one of these. Now you can see that these are a little different. So these are barbed on each side. So we're going to have a hose come in here and out here. And then this is a different attachment. So what we do there is you can go ahead and push the sprayer directly on. And just push it on nice and tight. Okay? And that's not going anywhere. All right? So then we connect here. This one we can turn a little easier, so might be able to work it on there. Well, just like I said, I'm going to come back with a pair of gloves on. I'm going to be able to tighten all these up, so you're going to see that. Okay, so then you just go ahead and do the same thing here. Again, push it all the way on to here. All right, and then just continually space them out. And that's what I'm going to do on both sides. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to do that on both sides, and once I get that done, I'll show it to you. I'll show you that I've got them all flushed up nicely, and we'll kind of have everything ready to go, and just need to go outside and place it once the rain stops. All right, so I've got one side done. I wanted to go ahead and show you. So like I said, I put on some gloves, and just then you're able to really push these. You want to get these nice and flush right up against there, right? And same with this. You want to push this down so it's nice and flush and you don't have any gap where the sprayer touches. So I went through and did that. Like I said, just any pair of work gloves, and then also just wetting the end of the barb does help a little bit too. So you can see I went around and did the sprays, and then this is, you know, an end piece. So this just stops any water flow. I did leave some extra tube here in case I need to add any on. That way you can just go ahead and I could continue adding if I need to. If I decided I wanted to use the drippers instead, all I would do is use a barbed adapter here instead, and then a small piece of hose, and attach the dripper to that small piece of hose. Okay, so that's all you really need to do with those. So we've got one side set up. I'll go and do the other side, and then I will show you it in action and just show you how we can adjust the sprays slightly and use some of the little stakes to hold things in place. Thanks. All right, here's the PATHONOR drip irrigation system. So I went ahead and just set it up so that I could run it for you and show you. I'm still waiting on my wife to pick out the perfect planter that she wants in this area. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn the water on here, and you're gonna see these sprayers start going. So you can see here that they spray pretty well. Let me back that up because we've got one spraying at us. So it's pushing through a good 15 feet of line at least, and then through 5 sprayers on this end. And you can see that even down to the last sprayer, that it is spraying very nice. And of course you can adjust them like this. This is how you can adjust them. So the spraying, very good. Lots of pressure still. And then I wanted to just go ahead and show you, even though I'm not using this one, this is what the red tip ones look like when they spray. So you just kind of stand them straight up, and then they spray all out to the sides like that. So it's a good option for watering different types of plants too. So you can use either one. But again, this is the PATHONOR irrigation system. Trying to stay out, keep my shadow out of there. And there you go. So If you need to do any watering, these work great if you pair them with any sort of Wi-Fi timer. That's what we really like to do, and then that way my wife's plants don't die when we go on vacation or, have to be gone for a while. So again, PATHONOR drip irrigation system.